What's going on, investors? Dest here from Investments. Today I'm going to bring you a video talking about why the altcoins are about to have a massive run compared to Bitcoin and some of the indicators we're looking at. Before we begin, I'd like to give my special thanks to the Patreon supporters. So thank you to these guys. And of course, don't forget to join up on the Discord. The link is in the description below. So first thing we're going to look at is we're going to look at the market cap versus others dominance. And as you can see, the others are starting to take market cap from Bitcoin. And this is kind of to be expected when you see that Bitcoin has just been in a bit of a lull lately. But what we've been seeing is that Bitcoin's just been having some sideways action for a bit now, where it's just kind of looks like it's trying to consolidate and get ready to stage to go higher. So what I'm anticipating with this is that we're going to see at least a month of this, maybe to the end of April, where we're just going to have some sideways action before we start pushing for this 62K level and higher. And what that means is this is going to be a great time for altcoins. So I would anticipate this month is going to be a good time being altcoins. So we saw, I think 2 or 3 days ago, a lot of these altcoins were just booming. We can pull up some charts here, but for instance, Tron just took off. A couple other ones we were looking at, BTS took off. Icon took off. Not to say that these guys weren't pumping, but it seems that these smaller market cap coins are starting to get some action. And what we've experienced in the past is that this typically happens when Bitcoin is near all-time highs, but playing in sideways action, reconsolidating. What it makes me think that's happening is a lot of people are taking profits off these big cap wins, These big cap coins, they've pumped up a lot, and people are taking a little bit of that and looking for the next thing. And obviously it's trickling down to the mid cap and the smaller cap coins. So what we've seen is a couple days ago, a lot of these coins have just pumped up. So we were looking at BTS for a cup and handle here since February. And it looks like end of March it started pumping up, and it really took off and damn near doubled 2 days ago. So we are starting to see it happen. And I'm going to give you a couple of examples here. If you look at some of these smaller coins, USD pair, a lot of them look like this, if not crazier, where they have just had astronomical runs. So let's go to Tron, for example. Okay. So Tron, the one we were looking at, looks like it already took off. If I were to look at this chart, I would say, okay, it's already gone. Not much you can really do unless you're looking for a little entry and potentially trying to pull some profits out of nothing, right? Now, if you were to take that Tron BTC pair instead, this chart is looking a lot more interesting. So you got the recent low, which is pretty much the all-time low except for Inception, and it has just bounced off there. So you made a 1, 2, 3, and then your newer low is right there. And from there, it's staging higher. So this is Tron versus BTC. As you can see, it's making a little headway. And look at the room it's got to go. So you could potentially see it up here, before it ends. Okay, so that's one example, Tron, right? Now Link versus BTC. We could show Link versus USD. And obviously it's going to be a damn near parabolic chart, right? Look at that, straight up. But now if you were to look at the Link versus BTC chart, painting an entirely different picture. And the picture it paints is that it's a more reasonable price to buy in. When you're looking at something like this, I don't want to buy into that because it's near all-time highs. But when you're looking at this chart, it's painting a much prettier picture where it's showing that there is room to the upside for this to go. So I think what we've seen is that a lot of these valuations for things like Link or ADA, for example, the valuation was determined based on the astronomical rise of Bitcoin price, right? So the rising price of Bitcoin dragged the market up with it as it went, right? Now we're starting to see these alts fight for dominance against Bitcoin. And I think it's just going to be a temporary thing, but something interesting to watch as we get into this month. So these are all over. We can show you a couple different charts here. So XLM versus US dollars. Again, not a great spot to buy in on the US dollar chart, right? Looks like it's higher than it's ever been. Not a pretty picture. Look at the XLM versus BTC chart. Okay, you got an all-time low right here, and it's just broke above there. Plenty of room to the upside, so there's more potential. ETH versus BTC. Again, this one's a little farther back, and you can see it's just staging higher and higher and higher as it's moving along here. But look at this room to the upside. So what I'm getting at with all this evidence is that I think we are about to see altcoins just take off. Of course, they're going to take off in US dollar value. They're also going to take off versus Bitcoin. And what I anticipate happening is this is going to happen for a month about until Bitcoin starts to push towards that all-time high. And once it gets into range around that $62,000 level, I think we're going to see them all start crashing back down. So it's going to be a time-sensitive pump, but it's something that I'm anticipating. We did see this happen in 2017, and I can show you an example of that real quick in XRP. So I'm going to show you an example back from 2017-ish of XRP versus Bitcoin and XRP versus US dollar. But to understand this example, you got to also look at Bitcoin during that same time frame. So I marked all these vertical lines March 24th, 2017 to February 11th, 2018. So as you can see, March 2017, Bitcoin was around $1,000, give or take, and it pumped all the way up to about 20,000. When Bitcoin was still around $1,000, XRP took a massive run against Bitcoin. And you can see Bitcoin wasn't doing much, it was just kind of flat and consolidating. Took a massive run compared to Bitcoin. And what that correlated to was XRP versus USD price going up. And then it consolidated for a good period of time. Then as Bitcoin started running again, tanked versus Bitcoin, right? Then versus Bitcoin, again, XRP went sky high. But it also happened to be at the same time Bitcoin was running to $20,000. So what that resulted in was XRP going from a peak of 38 cents to a 10x move about $3.80. I think it might have even been higher. So that's kind of what I'm looking to see happen right now. Is I think a lot of these alts are just going to have a big run compared to Bitcoin. And we're going to see that reflected in the US dollar price, if not at least the Bitcoin price. So the moral of the story, I guess, I think that we are going to see a lot of these alts versus Bitcoin start to run like crazy. And I think Bitcoin's going to be stagnant for a bit. But once it starts to move, I'm expecting these alts to pull back significantly. But if they do not, we're going to see something like this again, where it's just going to 10x overnight almost some of these prices. So I've positioned into some of these smaller cap coins in the anticipation that we're going to see some good moves coming our way. So let me know what you think down in the comments below. Do you think that we're about to see an altcoin run? Do you think it has anything to do with the Bitcoin pairs or market dominance? Or do you think Bitcoin's just going to take off and leave everything in the dust? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to join up on the Discord. Link is in the description below. And if you appreciated this content, don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe for more like it. Till next, later.